everybody. It's Thanksgiving morning. I'm bored, out in the garage, fiddling around with stuff. And I thought, what the hell? I'll do a little video on the history of my Ford Pinto, 1973. Previous owner, good friend of mine that passed away 2 years ago, and he left it to me. This was his baby. He bought it brand new. He did a lot of custom work to it. Hand built the front end. There was a couple different variations of it through the years. I've got some pictures I'll put up. But yeah, he did all the most of the work himself, except for like machine work on the engine and that. But you know, it's got custom built dash, all the gauges, all the lights, all the switches. Built his own center console. Did a lot of work to it. It didn't have a rear bumper on it when I got it. It had a aluminum, like an I-beam, or C-channel, is what he had on the back. But I like the original bumper. I got plans to trim it and tuck it one of these days, probably after I paint it. But yeah, I threw some Mustang GT wheels on it because it had 13s, and those are expensive nowadays, and they're stupid. So, but I have the original aluminum slots, Pinto slots that came on the car. Yeah. So, well, there's a shot under the hood. This is the original engine. 439,000 miles on it. Been rebuilt, well, twice. It was rebuilt in 83 at 200,000 miles, and then I just did a quick top end rebuild anyway on it back in February. Had the head done. I took the pistons out, just kind of put a new crosshatch in them. I didn't do anything right. The rings were stuck. I was able to get them unstuck and cleaned up, but it's still got issues. And a lot of air coming out of the crankcase. So it's a gutless turd right now, but it runs these. Honestly, it's one of the most reliable cars I have in the fleet right now. It hasn't left me stranded anywhere. You know, I did the Craigslist rebuild, painted it, new gaskets, polished up the cover there. Yeah, he's got big ass Excel coil in it. Remade all the water lines, a hard pipe, put them up against the firewall so they weren't running over the valve cover. That's because he got rid of the water ran choke and had this other setup with a flap. I since have got a, Amazon Chinesium Weber 3236 and threw on it. Yeah, don't run too bad. It's I got plans. I want to put a 2.3 in it, but I'm kind of stuck on when I tried to put the 2.3 in, it wouldn't fit. I don't know where motor mounts are supposed to go. I couldn't get it to get up against the transmission. There was just a bunch of fuckery that went on, so that's why I decided to just redo the head on this engine and just get it running and get it driving so I could take it to some shows, because this car has been around this area its whole life and people know it. People recognize it. I've had people, complete strangers, walk up to me and say, "Oh, is that John Thomas's car?" Yes, it was. And it still is. It still is. It'll always be John's car. I'm just the caretaker of it right now. But hence the sticker, my buddy John's. I like John. He was a really good dude. He was way older. He was 87 when he passed away. Photographer by trade. But he was a car nut. He was an avid car nut. Did a lot of, like I said, a lot of custom work on this. Changed things around 2 or 3 times over the years. At one point, it had 6 headlights in it. The other two were right here, and then he had a wee little grill right here in the middle. This I put on after I got the car home. I didn't like having this all open. This is actually the lower grill from a 95-ish Camaro. It ovaled out. I just cut it straight on each side, made my own brackets, bolted it in just to fill the gap for now. But it's not awesome, but it did the job. I didn't like leaving it wide open. It looked kind of stupid. There's where he extended the hood. The car is actually about 4 inches longer than it was from the factory, thanks to this front end he built. He handmade these out of, I'm not sure what the hell he used. Some kind of resin. Plastic and aluminum support behind it. Made a heat shield here because he put the transmission cooler right there in the bumper. It's kind of a neat idea. This side's just closed off. But he had a lot of neat ideas. I had to revamp some of them, but he was really good at, he didn't spend a whole lot of money. He hand did everything. He used pieces from other cars. He used materials that he found lying around or somebody gave him. And he repurposed everything. So, that older generation, them guys, you didn't buy stuff. You made it. Because that's how you were brought up. You did what you could do to get by. And that's what John always did. Like I say, he was a really smart guy. So yeah, that's a little bit of the overview there. So we'll go to talking about a little bit of a backstory. I like to keep a photo of John on my toolbox. It's like he's always watching over the car, watching me work on it. I know it sounds stupid, but like I said, I miss him. He was a good man. Did a lot of photography by trade. Was an avid car nut, like I've said before. This shot was taken, I do believe, in New York State, somewhere. Lots of pictures of cars. This old van here, I think that was one of his old vans that he used to load up and take to art shows. He had a whole big setup. Here is a shot that he made for me and my buddy Kenny of the Pinto as it sat. I do believe this was in 2016. It's called Pinto Frustration. That's how that thing sat for 12 years with the transmission out, up on blocks, engine disassembled, in this leaky barn that he had a tent set up over the car to keep water from getting on it. He took the transmission out, took it into the house, into his kitchen, sat it on the table, and then disassembled it. Whenever I would stop over to visit, he would take me in there, and parts on the table, counter, floor. He even had stuff in the oven, because I don't think he used the oven, but there were parts stored in the oven. Yeah, he was eccentric, but he was cool. It was a cool thing. He didn't like working in the cold. He was 87 when he passed, but he was in his 80s. He didn't like being out in the cold, and we only fidgeted with it on certain days during the summer whenever he had free time. John was an evil genius when it came to the design of this car. He had many ideas. He did a lot of work inside his house. He'd tear pieces off the car, take them into the house, work on them, just like the engine there. There's shots of the dashboard being built and wired, the wiring mess that exists behind that dashboard, and the framework for the center console. There we have semi-completed console, hand-lettered, everything written by him and drawn out by him, and little notes on the back of all the stuff. The front end was a different story. He said he didn't like the Ford front end because Ford designed it too feminine. He wanted to butch it up. So he started with the headlight bezels, adding the other headlights, the front air dam, the bumper. The air dam didn't live long. It was changed out. I don't have any pictures of it when it was done. But right there it looks pretty sporty. I dig it. Right there it is complete, painted. That was before he got busted. I don't know where this shot was taken, but it had a jet in it, so I thought it was cool. And here is after I received it, got it running, took it back to his place. Here was my first feeble attempt at making a video. I had a crappier camera with a crappier microphone. So yeah, doing all the things the guys on YouTube do. I threw the transmission in it, rebuilt it, put it in, put the engine together, and then screwed around for a week trying to get the damn thing to run. So enjoy my failure, or at least my first failure. Anyway, let the laughs begin. Started to. Yeah. Okay, so round two. I got gas in the tank. Filled the transmission. So now, I'm going to try to get her to fire for the first time in over 10 years. See what happens. somehow my footage ended up disappearing. But I got it running. I got it driving. It ran like dog shit. But it was movable. And I took it around and had some fun with it. People get a kick out of seeing it. A lot of people make fun of it. So, going through all these things, I decided that I would do a leak down test, which was horrible. Every valve was shot, beat to hell. Valve seats were gone, valve guides were gone. So I pulled the head, sent it down to a local machine shop next town over. He did a great job. He got it damn near perfect. This is the best this thing's ran since, I think, before John blew the transmission the last time, which was in 2008. And so I pulled the bottom end out, redid everything. So it's a completely fresh motor, painted everything, cleaned up under the hood, removed some unnecessary things, and I'll show you a bit of that. Alright, I got the intake on, fuel line hooked up, distributor's hooked up, plugs are in, header's on, but I do not have it hooked up the collector yet. Alternator, belt, water jacket, thermostat. Engine's timed. So all you do is put that timing cover on, but I'm waiting. Right now, radiator and the lines and some water lines over there. And then be ready to fire it up, see what happens. Be right back. Alright, so apparently I don't know how to use any of this shit yet. I recorded a whole sequence of test driving the car and bitching about how it ran, blah blah blah. And the whole time I didn't even have the camera recording. So when I went to make the video, there's nothing there. But anyway, I have played around with the timing. I had to buy a new timing light that actually did advance on it. In the original part of the video where I have it running and it runs like shit, the base timing was at 30. No. So now I've got everything tweaked, carburetor, readjusted the valves, and I have now where it's at 9.5, seems to be happy. Base setting is 6, but on that damned pulley, I don't even know if top dead center on that pulley is top dead center. I screwed around with borescope, got it up, top dead, number one up, top dead center, and then did it that way. But yeah, right now seems to be happy around 9. I got it outside warming up right now because this microphone sucks and the car is too rumbly and it makes for horrible audio. But anyway, so we'll get outside here. Well, and I still don't know how to operate this camera. I can't get the screen to switch back to the other side. So, we'll just do this. We'll just guess. But anyway, here she is running, idling. Sounds pretty good. I gotta do something about that muffler. Need a different muffler. Anyway, let's take it down the road. Alright, now I got it. You gotta stop recording and and then switch screens. That doesn't make any sense. All this shit I bought off Amazon, dirt cheap, and never read the instructions, you know, like people do. And yeah, so anyway, I did hook the vacuum gauge back up. Got a new line. Vacuum's good. About 15 pounds is where the highest good vacuum I can get. Anyway, we'll take a trip down the road here, see what we're getting into. It don't run too bad. She's no powerhouse. You know, it's 2-liter. 2-liter problems. I know the 2.3 probably isn't any better. Well, 5 more horse. Speed Demon shift kit really doesn't need to be in here, but I feel like pissing with the transmission. She gets up to speed a hell of a lot better. Believe it or not, this thing handles really good for being a Pinto. Race car stuff. Yeah. It's definitely way better than it was. Well, before it took forever to get up to speed. At least now, she actually moves a little better. Like I said, she's no speed demon. But it is nice to have it back on the road. A little more reliable, hopefully better on gas. Don't have any of the... Yeah, see, I got better, way better throttle response. It's zooming around. I think I'm at 55. I don't even know if this speedometer's right. It's just weird. I don't know if any of these gauges are right. John did what he did, mainly reading books and magazines and going over what other people told him. You know, as I go through the manual, it's weird how his brain worked. He always way overthought everything. But, you know, maybe they are all right. I don't know. I know the gas gauge isn't. Because we've only gone 32 miles. And it's already down to half a tank. And that's fucking impossible. Even if this thing had a fuel leak, it wouldn't go through that much gas in 30 miles. But I have noticed that the gauge floats real bad. So I may not even be full when I fill it up. I don't know. I run it until the damn thing clicks, and then 10 miles down the road I got a half a tank of gas. So I might have to pull that sending unit out, replace it. I don't know if it's stock or if it's for this gauge. I never read up on that in the book. Yeah, I don't know, not too bad here. She does ride decent. You have to forgive my shitty camera work. I don't have a handle or a mount yet. I'm just starting. All this shit's new to me. Oh, let's see here. We'll just whip her around right here and hopefully not get hit by anything. Alright. Now let's see if we can burn the tires. On this is like 28 minutes. Yeah, so, alright, I'll put the camera down now and finish driving, and see you guys back in the garage. Okay guys, well there you have it. The story thus far on my 73 Pinto. Like I said, I do have big plans. I want to put a 2.3 in it. I want to put a turbo in it. I want to make it faster. I don't want to do the V8 thing because that's a lot of shit you got to go through to do that. I'm not doing that. I'm not a fab guy. I rig stuff up to get by. But